Hello, welcome to Ekate's Crossing as we continue with Chapter 9 of Journey of the Heart. But we're going to begin with wisdom from the Epics of Hind. Let's choose one card for reflection as we think about Chapter 9. Now, I've got no idea what this chapter is about, so let's have a look and see what's Chapter 9 going to teach us. What do we need to reflect on while we listen to this chapter? Oh, this one here is poking out. So let's have a look. What card are we looking at here? Okay, we're talking about humiliation. Humiliation. Shurpanaku's humiliation. Right, let's have a look and see what this is talking about. Humiliation. Humiliation. Oops, not the male card. This is female. Okay, Shurpanaka was Ravana's sister, who was widowed by Ravana himself in her community. She was considered very beautiful. Around her middle age, she met Lord Rama in the forest and was smitten by him. Rama, who was young and handsome, found Shurpanaka to be cross-eyed, pot-bellied, with thinning hair and unattractive features. As she became enamored with Rama, he rejected her advances. But Shurpanaka wouldn't take no for an answer. When she pressed on further, Rama diverted her towards Lakshmana, his younger brother, who mocked and humiliated her. Enraged, Shurpanaka tried to kill Sita with her long nails. In retaliation, Lakshmana chopped off her nose and one of her ears, but spared her life. Shurpanaka had to live with this humiliation all her life. Do you feel you've been humiliated? Do you feel the need to somehow lessen people who are different from you? Are you finding it difficult to cope with age-related changes in your body? Do you constantly wish your body or features looked different? Know that the body keeps changing and will be. Know that your body keeps changing and will be different types of beautiful at different stages of your life. Be kind, it comes back to you. Be mindful of how your words and actions may affect others. Spend at least 5 minutes in front of the mirror every day, sending love to your body. Avoid harsh body modifications, treatments, and unnatural injections. Choose kindness over everything else. Work on your self-esteem. It will elevate you to a more fulfilling life. So it's very important to think about how you're treating others as well as yourself and what you expect from others to treat you. So let's have a look and see what Chapter 9 is all about. Let's take a minute to think about this. Obstacles on the path. Opening our heart to another, interesting, as we have seen, eventually brings us up against the obstacles to love inside us. All the contracted places where we fear intimacy or want to stay closed. Soon we find ourselves acting out the same old self-deflating games we've been caught in all our lives. And this leads to struggle and conflict with our partner. Commitment involves a decision to work with these fears and rigid patterns that arise in a relationship. Yet to work effectively with them, we also need to recognize what we're up against. Understanding the forces at work in our struggles with our partner can help us to come to grips with them, instead of just being at their mercy. Then these obstacles can become stepping stones that lead forward towards than barriers that block our way. Family background and conditioned patterns. How each of us expresses and receives love in relationships and fears doing so was established long ago in our very first intimate relationships with our mothers and fathers. Our parents have a tremendous influence over us, not just because our well-being depended so totally on them, but because they were our first people we loved deeply. Unfortunately, our first loves usually leave us with wounds that we carry with us for the rest of our lives. The psychological influence of parents on children is particularly strong in a society like ours, where extended families, tight-knit communities, and initiation rituals, which once mitigated the parents' impact, have broken down or disappeared. Growing up in an isolated nuclear family, apart from a larger kinship network, does not provide enough space from parents or enough range of models of healthy male and female behaviour. The parent-child relationship often proves to be either too close or too distant, both of which leads to difficulties in later relationships, abandonment and engulfment. At the core of all fears of intimacy is a fear of loss. People whose parents were distant or unavailable usually fear loss of love and contact. They are afraid of being neglected or abandoned again. They may cling to relationships in an addictive way, demanding that their partners continually prove their love. Or they may keep one foot out the door so that they are never in a situation where they could be abandoned again. At the other extreme, children whose parents were too close, invasive, or controlling fear losing themselves, their psychological space which allows them to feel their integrity as individuals. One extreme but common form of parental encroachment on a child's space is psychic incest, where a mother who is dissatisfied with her husband turns to his son for emotional fulfillment, or a father unconsciously tries to keep his daughter's affections all to himself. These secret pacts between parent and child results in sons feeling emotionally tied to their mothers, mama boys, and daughters feeling bound to their fathers, daddy's little girls. Those who suffered from invasive parents will fear engulfment, being emotionally controlled or smothered by an intimate partner. Because relationships with parents often contain complex, contradictory influence, many of us grow up in fearing both abandonment and engulfment, which get played out differently in different relationships. With one partner, we might fight to maintain our separate space, yet with a different partner, we may wind up fighting for greater intimacy and closeness. When we play out these fears in a relationship, we are reenacting old scenes from the universal drama of childhood, which has two main subplots. First, bonding with our parents, and then separating from them, and becoming an individual in our own right. Those of us who could not bond deeply with the parents we loved or separate fully from them leave childhood wounded in these areas. Our anxiety about our frustrated needs causes us either to turn against those part of ourselves or to exaggerate them. If our parents did not respond to our need for love and caring, we will often feel guilty and or demanding about wanting emotional support and connectedness. Or if our parents did not value our need to be independent, we may feel guilty and or defiant about wanting to be separate individuals, and we perpetuate these kind of woundedness by maintaining an attitude of conditional self-love that obstructs the free flow of love in later relationships. I only like myself if I don't need anyone, or if I'm pleasing to others. People with abandonment fears often feel ashamed and disempowered when they desire to connect with others, since they do not believe that they can express their need for contact in a way that will inspire a positive response. They act it out in devious, distorted, or compulsive ways. This may become demanding, manipulative, or critical when their partner is not there in the way they want. This usually has the effect of pushing the partner away, which further frustrates their need for contact and makes them feel even more helpless after ever having it met. Furthermore, since they feel chronically starved for affection, it is hard for them to recognize the complementary set of needs to spend time alone, to have their own space, and to be self-contained. Consequently, their partners start acting out those needs instead, and they polarize into antagonistic warring positions. The same situation holds true in reverse. For those who fear losing their individuality in a relationship because of their childhood experience with evasive or engulfing parents, they feel conflicted about being separate individuals and lack confidence in their autonomy. Thus, they act out their need for space and freedom in exaggerated ways by defensively keeping their distance or pushing their partner away. Since too much intimacy could threaten their already fragile sense of independence, they also cannot fully acknowledge their complementary need for closeness and connectedness. When their partner expresses this need, instead, the two of them become locked into a polarized struggle. In some, relationships inevitably reactivate old wounds from childhood in the areas of bonding and separating. Our old fears of not getting what we need make us feel powerless when these needs arise in a relationship. This makes us act them out in unfriendly, exaggerated, or manipulative ways, thereby pushing our partner in the other direction. Our partner, in turn, starts acting out the opposite set of needs, those that we have had a hard time acknowledging ourselves, and this leads to an ongoing struggle whose real nature is often unclear to either of us. If we continue to act out our wounds unconsciously, they will forever create conflict in our relationships, for they interfere with the flow of the dance of intimacy, which involves moving freely back and forth between me and we, keeping our seat as a strong, self-contained individual and bonding as a couple. Fortunately, we can begin to heal these wounds, even in the midst of relationships where they are stirring up the most trouble. In fact, one of the great gifts of a deep relationship is that it brings these core wounds to light, thus allowing us to bring attention to them and free ourselves from their influence. Old wounds continue to control our behavior only because we have withdrawn our awareness from them. Since we have essentially gone to sleep in these places, we must first wake up to how our wounds affect us. If we want to free ourselves from their grip, we can do this by using the external conflicts they create to develop greater awareness of the internal conflicts we feel around our needs. In this way, we can use any struggle with our partner as a path to help us rediscover and empower the wounded, helpless parts of ourselves where we are blocking the flow of love that could most nourish our development. Okay, that's it for today. Don't forget to check the links down below, check the links on our channel, like, subscribe and ring the bell so we know when the next video, so we can continue with this chapter 9. Okay, take care.